This podcast is extremely short, unless I manage to figure out how to prolong it. It is a breakdown, analysis, description of the human behavioral characteristic of jealousy. The nature of jealousy is that, at first glance in the past, I always thought jealousy was anger or rage, some version of anger. And now I see that it's actually a composition of two opposing emotions, one having to do with oneself and another having to do with other people. And it's a combination of shame directed towards the self versus pride directed or concerning or pride over how one can screw somebody else, while being ashamed of oneself by comparison to them at the same time. So they have something you envy, right? You look up to, or you envy, or you wish you were, but you're not. And so you're ashamed of yourself. And rather than praising the other person or something, you screw them over. You bury them in the mud. So now you don't have somebody to envy or be ashamed of. You don't have yourself to be ashamed of anymore. And you don't have them to envy anymore. So it takes care of your envy and your shame. So it's actually a combination of envy and shame, culminating in pride. We'll say culminating in pride. So pride is not the cause, it's the effect or the result. And it's a very pleasant goal. It's a goal. So the goal is to be proud of oneself. We all want to be proud of ourselves. And pride is a very sexual emotion, very erotic. It has everything to do with the sexual drive that sometimes, maybe more often than not, is the motivation behind our actions and decisions, is our sexual pride. Or just pride, but with sex, our sexuality as an undercurrent that we don't really put conscious attention on, something subliminal. So the sexual part is subliminal, but it's there because we know that because how we feel when we're erotically aroused. We're very proud of it, that we can do it and enjoy it. So it's there. It's always there, whether or not it's part of the subject matter. Regardless, it's part of the subject experiencing the pride. Let's put it that way, whether or not it's part of the subject matter that we're attending to. So pride is the goal, but envy and shame is the cause. We're envious of somebody else, and we're ashamed of ourselves by comparison. And to eradicate our personal shame resulting from our envy over somebody else, we screw them over, and we're left with pride. Oh, what a smart boy or a smart girl am I. So that concludes my little podcast on shame, envy, and pride. And our sexuality. Very misguided, obviously, but, when you think you can get away with it, why not,